Happy Tuesday or Thursday or whatever day of the week it is. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So here we have Verona, and Verona is my attempt at making an Italian sim. As you guys probably know by this point, I've been trying to make sims that come from basically all around the world because I just want a more diverse Sims community, obviously, and to test my Sims 4 creative sim skills. But yeah, so here we have Verona, and funny story, when I was younger, I used to think that knowing who Shakespeare was like super smart, like in elementary school, and you know, I was here to be a really smart kid, you know? Obviously, that's what I think everyone really goes to school for, is to just become more educated, but also I was really competitive in the field of like intelligence, I guess, and so I always worked really hard to be like really smart, and then to come off as really smart, and I think it was actually effective because I've convinced people that I'm smart, and I like to believe that I am, but you know, I'm no Einstein, so you know. Anywho, I used to think that knowing who Shakespeare was made you really smart in elementary school because you come off so worldly, because like nobody really knows Shakespeare yet, unless you come from a background of like maybe English parents or something, and they like want to teach you all about their literature classes and stuff. But anywho, I remember I didn't know anything about Shakespeare besides his criticisms on Romeo and Juliet, so I just followed that, and that's how I pretended like I knew who he was. And then in freshman year of high school, we actually were going to read Romeo and Juliet, and I was like, finally, I can have my own views, and I can figure out if this is really bad according to a lot of people, because I'm a huge hopeless romantic, and I love reading romance, and I was like, I am ready, let's do this. And then obviously I read it and I disliked it, and I know people make a lot of the arguments that, oh, if you read a play, you won't enjoy it nearly as much as if you watch it performed, because it's meant to be seen performed. So of course, our teachers had us watch like the movies, and it wasn't really the same, and the interpretations of Romeo and Juliet in movies are actually quite interesting. I believe in like the Leonardo DiCaprio version, it was in sort of like a gang sense, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I'm thinking of the wrong interpretation of it. But I remember watching one that was like that, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. But yeah, and anywho, before getting to this point of reading Romeo and Juliet, when I was younger, I had never really known much about Romeo and Juliet. And so I was spacing out one day, and I was like, just thinking, and I figured, I was like, oh, Verona. And I was like, Verona is such a nice name. And this was just out of nowhere. Like, honestly, I was just sitting lost in my mind, and this happened. And I had thought that I made up the name Verona because I liked it a lot, and I wanted like my future daughter to have that name, and I still kind of do, you know, whenever I get to that point in my life, because I'm just, you know, a little college student, so it's, you know, nothing major. But yeah, and then, you know, you may know how I felt when I got to freshman year of high school and I was reading Romeo and Juliet, and it was like, oh, it's set in Verona, you know? And I was like, oh my god, what? I didn't make this up. Shakespeare, like, had this forever ago. And even then, he didn't really have it because it was already, like, what is it, a city in Italy? And I was so ashamed. So sad. I was like, I thought this was all, like, my great skill, and it was not. So that's a very messy version of that story. But yeah, so anyways, we have Verona here, and I tried to also look up not only, like, you know, Italian women, because that's my inspiration, but I also tried to look up Italian fashion, and all I saw was that it was primarily just high-end, and it had a good amount of neutrals in comparison to other countries that will have high-end fashion, but it's very colorful. And they did have, like, colorful fashion too, of course, but I just really love the classy appeal of neutral-toned, you know, outfits. So I tried to basically do a mix of those because I like to think that she wants to be like an owner of a nice boutique in The Sims. But she starts off as just like a Simstuber, you know? So she's doing like the whole Simstube, trying to make money from it. And basically she will be making like fashion videos and try to make a living off of that. I did set her to live in, what is it? The world that came with eco living. And she lives in one of those apartments with a really cute dog that you will see near the end. And I did record me doing a little revamp of the bedroom and her, Simtube studio. So if the video is edited by this time, I will make sure to leave it in the end screen and in the description so you guys can go check that out. But yeah, speaking of checking things out, you guys should really go ahead and check out my Sims, not YouTube. Well, I guess my Sims YouTube channel's Instagram. It is at Thewritesimmer. I've been posting a lot more frequently lately, and I'm kind of proud about it. Speaking of, another reason why I was in the mood to make Verona at the time that I did, which was a few weeks ago, was because I wanted to post for the Sims for 2020 Pride, which, is this hashtag to celebrate Pride in The Sims, and it's just a really lovely hashtag. Also, I'm curious because I remember when I put the hashtag in, and it was so pretty because, basically, as you guys may or may not know, the hashtags are usually, white, at least if you have, the dark theme background. So I was really surprised to see that Pride was in rainbow, and I don't know if that's only in June, which is Pride Month, or if it's year-round, but I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, it's shining. I was like, ooh. Okay, anyways. But yeah, so Verona is bisexual. It's, just one part of her, so it's not as if it's her whole identity, but, that's a fun fact about Verona. I thought it was really cool. I also did make a family for Pride Month as well, which is also on my Instagram video. And though the videos, as you can see, are really late because now it is nearing the end of July, I wasn't going to beat myself up on it too much, basically, mostly because, Pride, it's just, another element about human beings, and we all deserve, the equality of being able to have our own gender orientation, sexual orientation, and things like that. And so, even though I didn't really rush to get it in Pride Month, I feel like year-round, we should still be celebrating each other's differences and uniqueness, and I'm so sorry about that. I know you heard my computer right there, and this is raw, so I'm just gonna leave it in. But yeah, I feel like it doesn't have to be Pride Month to go ahead and show some support and diversity, so please do not come at me for uploading this late, in quotations. But yeah, so there's my spiel. Anywho, so how have you guys been doing? What's new in your lives? Go ahead and comment down below, or go ahead and comment on my Instagram photos, because I'm always down to have a great old conversation, But yeah, what's going on with you guys? What's new? What's the new games, the new YouTubers you've been watching? How bored are you in quarantine, or are you actually making the best of it? Go ahead and let me know. Currently, my update is I don't know if you guys know or not, but I'm still in my summer quarter of university. This is technically the beginning of my second year, which is really exciting. By the end of this year, I'll be able to declare both of my majors. If you guys didn't know, I am going to be declaring a finance major as well as a creative writing major, so that's exciting. And besides that, classes are very, I guess, hectic or overwhelming or something of that nature. I mean, it is I don't know. I just don't have a ton of motivation doing university during quarantine because I prefer to go to my classes and have that social interaction in person and things like that, which you don't really get online unless it's a Zoom class. And honestly, I hate Zoom classes. My internet is not the greatest for it, so I always have to be closer to my internet box, which is in my living room. And the classes are always at 9 a.m. and I have a really horrible sleep schedule. And so the class that I have for full term, which if you don't know is just full summer, because with your summer classes they can either be half of the summer or they can be a full. And so I have two classes that are half that will be ending by the time this video is up. They'll be over. And then I have one class that is for full term. So it ends, I think, a little bit before autumn quarter begins. So I'll probably have I don't know, maybe a week break, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. But yeah, what was I talking about? All right, Zoom class. But yeah, so the one class I have that is full term meets at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. And it's very exhausting for me. It is 2.5 hours long, which is just well above my attention span. And I'm always really tired. And if my Wi-Fi was better, I'm pretty sure I'd just watch this thing in my bed. Probably more half awake. But, you know, the material is very fascinating, so that's good. I'm taking a intersectionality diversity class. So it talks about basically different parts of diversity, so different aspects of how people are, which kind of sounds like a psychological thing, but more like it talks about the diversity in races, diversity in cultures, social classes, because intersectionality, from what I've learned so far, is mostly when it takes those different aspects of someone's background and basically how they are differentiated and labeled in certain categories, and then kind of blends them together and talks about the diversity of that. And so I think one example would be the differences in white middle-class women and black middle-class women, and kind of the diversity among how they are kind of similar, but by having that one difference in labels, how they have different experiences in life and things like that. And it's pretty interesting. We do have some good reading material so far that I'm kind of behind on, but we've been reading Venus in the Dark, and I primarily only know about the thing known as the Venus pose, which it's pretty interesting. If you guys want, you guys should, you know, look it up and go ahead and read it. The book is not awfully long, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. Also, I was really excited to get some Sims 4 CC merch. As you guys could probably tell, I do have a little bit of Sims 4 CC back in the game at the moment, but I don't use it like all my Sims, and so yeah. Anyways, on to screenshots, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below your favorite ice cream flavor, because I've been all about ice cream this summer, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye! Have a grand day.